I can't hear you really.
All right, I'm going live now. I can hear you clearly.
Joy, I can't hear you.
Yeah, yes, we are live now. Good evening, everyone. Please, sir, can you hear me now? We are live now. Can you please mute your mic, please,
Can you?
while I quickly go through the introduction? Thank you, sir. Hi, everyone. Good evening. Welcome back. We just had our first session with Sir Emmanuel. It
I
was such
can't
an
hear
interesting
you
session.
at all.
The second session is beginning now. Okay, you cannot hear me. Can you hear me now? Can you hear me now? If you're watching us and you can hear me, kindly comment. Let me know if you all can hear me. I said our second session will be beginning honestly. We're having international facilitator all the way from Nordic Europe, Finland, Tampere University, Finland. I'm so excited. So excited to hear from our facilitator today. I know that a lot is in store for us. While we're still trying to digest the lessons we've taken from our first session, let's sit back and relax and listen to the value that we're going to be getting from this second session. I know a lot of us are itching to hear to ask questions because our facilitator is a Nigerian who has been able to successfully transition from the shores of Africa. So our facilitator tonight, our second facilitator, he is a graduate of electrical and can you all hear me? If you can hear me, please type I can hear you. Let me be sure I'm not talking to myself. Simon, please can you mute your mic? Okay. Please. Thank you. All right. I think they can hear me. Can you hear me now? I don't know if you all can hear me. Let me be sure I'm audible. So I'm not just talking to myself. Okay. So our facilitator is a graduate of Electrical and Electronics Engineering, Federal University of Technology, Mina, Niger State. He's currently on the master's degree program in biomedical sciences and engineering, Tampere University, Finland. He has keen interest in the use of technologies in driving innovative healthcare. He's skilled in signal processing, data analysis, and machine learning and medical devices. He currently works as a research assistant at the Faculty of Medicine and Health Technology, Tampere University, Tampere, Finland. He's a one-time ambassador of the Nigerian Students Biomedical Sciences and Engineering, Tampere University. Greatest life science student, help me and welcome Mr. Emmanuel Chimezie Chukwu. Mr. Emmanuel, please say hi to the audience. Welcome, welcome, welcome. We are so excited to have you.
Hi everyone. I'm so excited I'm so excited to be in your midst, and thank you for having me. So I will be glad to share what my experiences are and would like to take your questions where necessary. Thank you.
All right, thank you so much. Thank you, sir, Emmanuel. So my first question is, how was your days as an undergraduate in Nigeria? At what point did you begin to think that, oh, I want to think outside the box? How was your days as an undergrad? Do you always know the things you knew now? Or you're just like every regular, the African undergraduate had some limitations by default, but by the grace of God, God is helping us through knowledge and with social media technology, we're able to break free from some of these challenges we have just being an African undergraduate. So how was it like for you? Were you always passionate about your books? Were you just the random student? How's it been, sir?
Okay, thank you for that question. Joy. I For me, during those days in my undergraduate, I hadn't been just a regular student. Yeah. So basically I was passionate about my studies. I liked good grades actually. So but I was studying, yeah, for studying sake, but I personally didn't have enough clarity as to what I would do with my life after graduation. And I think there is this also this general hype within campus. Then okay, we are the guys doing the engineering, the electrical, and what we used to hype ourselves is our grades and our GP and all that. So we kind of we work hard. I actually work hard, but at some point I wasn't really keen on furthering my studies in a way. I thought masters could be enough, and even if masters is enough, bachelor is enough. Even if bachelor is enough, if I would consider doing a master's, I've always thought of doing it elsewhere out of Nigeria. So, but I had so much limited knowledge, such a limited knowledge as to how and when and who to meet and how to go about things. So, on this part, I was really at a disadvantage point because there was nobody to teach me and tell me, okay, this is what you need to do and how to go about this, and this is how it is done. So I think I was confined in a way in the Nigerian educational system, not being able to see beyond the Nigerian education system. Perhaps because I was so much assured that, okay, my good grades and everything I had will be able to give me a job, a good job in Nigeria and all that. Yeah, I know that people complain about um, lack of job everywhere. So I thought to myself that that wouldn't be my case because I actually know my stuff and I understand what I do. So, but along the line, some things started changing about how I would like to see myself in the consequent years, in the subsequent years, rather. Yeah, I hope I'm able to answer your question. Hello, Joy. Okay. Joy, are you there?
Yes, I'm here. Thank you so much for that question. So, from what I heard from what you said, you were you actually had your own fair share of the limitations we have as being African students, but
Mm,
along the line, that did not in the long run limit you from achieving your dreams. So,
yes.
it's not new to have the African limitations. Just being a Nigerian student, there are already limitations of going on strikes, not having the
Mm,
right knowledge, not being in an environment where what you are being taught is practically applied. So that was a normal thing, which is not supposed to be normal. But so if as you're talking to an undergraduate, that if you are experiencing that, it's not new, but it's still not a reason for you to not push forward for your dreams. Thank you so much for that. So what
mm.
I would love, just want to enumerate a few things you believe that you wish you knew while you were an undergraduate. Because the people watching right now are undergraduates. So what are the few things you actually wish you knew or things you wish you did while an undergraduate? Thank you.
Okay. First of all, I one thing I wish I knew is I wish I knew someone personally who had gone ahead um to study overseas, like someone I can actually reach out to anytime that can guide me on, okay, this is what I should do. What I think that connection was something I never had. If I had it while being on undergraduate, I think I would have prepared better while uh, whilst being undergraduate. Like I would have prepared, I would have known the country, the courses on the kind of prospect things I wanted for myself on how to go about things. So, for example, I would have, because if you consider studying abroad, there are a lot of options and a lot of opportunities, but you need to be able to weigh your options well and know where your strength lies and go for it. For example, I wanted to really advance so well in my knowledge and of electrical electronics engineering and whatever in control systems and all that. But then we know that there is US, there is UK, there is Europe, and every other country and all that. So this is a very wide range of options. But one thing I didn't know is, okay, who and which university would be able to give me the knowledge, the needed knowledge that I need and the opportunity to have. Basically, my target was a scholarship, actually. So where can I find this? Where can I find this and that? So I didn't know there were these options, these opportunities while as a undergraduate. So we have certain amount of scholarship here and there, like Chevening, some leadership scholarships, and a lot of them. When you start searching, you will get them. I could actually check some for you, but then these were things I didn't know. But the first and most important thing I would encourage any undergraduate to know first is to know what you really want out of life. Like, what is your vision? What's your aspiration? What are you looking out for? And that would actually streamline your search for which country or which kind of scholarship or which kind of course will be more important for you. Because if you consider all the options, you may waste so much energy doing a lot of things, applying for everything. But if you really, really know what you want out of your career, so that is also already a reduced waste of time for you. So it calls for actually sitting down to talk to yourself, knowing, okay, this is what I need to do, and then get somebody who can actually discuss that with you and then get this clarity, and then you start pursuing it in that direction. So I didn't have that. I had to figure out that along the line while working after my undergraduate. So it wasn't clear for me. I think that was the biggest thing I wish I knew more. So
So
again,
again,
yeah, in that, in addition, I think you should also know that most universities outside Nigeria will require you writing English exams, English tests, and they will also need your CGPA result, your transcript, and all that. I think transcript wasn't necessarily my problem. It wasn't a big issue for me because my grades weren't bad. So, but if I knew earlier that okay, I wanted to study abroad while being undergraduate, if I knew from 100 level or 200 level that okay, this is my aim, I want to study abroad immediately after my undergraduate years, then I would have aimed more higher for a first class CGP or that. But it turned out that I was competing, I was doing my studies, comparing myself with my folks around, which didn't help as much. Because if you really want to consider studying abroad, you need to really have your head up to compete with people, the best of the best around the world, because applications like that, um, this is how they are actually considered. You need to really take yourself out of the shoes of your current environment and see yourself in the from the global perspective and say, okay, if this person coming from Tokyo who had this certain advantage and this person coming from this part of this world having these advantages, how will I compete with them? So your ultimate opportunity to do that is to do well in your own courses. So by all means, if you can get a very, very good GPA, as in if you can get 4.5 and above, that would be great. But if you can't, 4 point is still good. I've seen people with 3 point something get scholarships and travel, but your struggle would have been reduced by a very large amount if you really have good grades. Yeah. So this is what I will encourage every undergraduate to pay attention to their grades, pay attention to your courses, what you the outcome will be like. Yeah,
Uh,
that's mm,
all right, and thank you, Mr. Emmanuel. Thank you so much. I really appreciate. So it's not only those who have first class that have stand a chance to get scholarship. If you have 3 point, 4 points, 3 points,
yes.
it's also nice. Like our previous facilitator said, get other side certifications and qualifications on Coursera and edX, all those
Mm,
online learning platforms. It can
mm,
also help. Start searching. Some of you have never researched, they have never Googled possible fields that you can study abroad that interest you. Maybe you're interested in politics, you're interested in business. Go and search online. There are courses that are linked to those things you're interested in. You should not wait till you have graduated before you start doing. This is something nobody can do for you. You will have to do it by yourself. Even your mentor cannot do it for you. You just have to find yourself by yourself. Another thing is, I want to ask Mr. Emmanuel, is how do you think the world outside Nigeria views Nigeria? I'm talking about from international space. How is Nigeria viewed? I'm not talking about the negatives. We already know a lot of negatives, but how do they view Nigeria from the positive perspective, especially for an individual who has low self-esteem being a Nigerian. And I've seen Nigerians that when you hear someone is from UK, they just completely just become a mediocre in their head. So how do you think these people see Nigeria from the positive point of view? Speaking to someone who is already having low self-esteem, being a Nigerian student or being a Nigerian.
okay. I think I've had limited knowledge of how they view us positively, but from what I know that being in Nigeria from the positive sense is so much advantageous in the sense that Nigerians always stand out among the black nations in a way. We are always seen ahead of many black nations because we really want to stand out. So it will be very, very un-Nigerian for them to see you act timid and uninspiring. Like you should stand out as a Nigerian. You as an we are actually good when it comes to comparison. When you compare us with other black Africans or persons from Africa. So Nigerians are really, really viewed as the outgoing, the energetic people among the blacks. So in general, we are not that scared. Even you that feel anybody that feels like he's a mediocre. I'm talking from the Finnish perspective. You are actually an extroverted person here. So you get to see people live a very timid life. I don't know how to say this better because okay, I'm just speaking from this environment. People don't they are not so social here as such. So even a timid person in Nigeria is a very outgoing person to them at an initial stage. So they want to see people relate with them at their level. And they are also fascinated when they see you relate and being so free. So they wonder really, really how can human beings be like this? And this is one characteristic we have as Nigerians, and it's when you really come out here, you will know that you are not as timid as you thought. But then it depends on the environment. Environment matters. So, um, for example, a place like US, if you are timid, then you are timid because United States are very extroverted. So it depends. So on a general sense, also they have also seen hard how hardworking we can be when it comes to academic perspective. We lecturers or your teachers will also want to work with you. The moment you show that okay, you could do well in certain courses and certain grades, having certain grades, and you are very, very communicative about what you want, then opportunities are available for you to work with them. So you just need to be positive. I don't think there is a downside to being a positive Nigerian in another country. Just go for it, go for whatever you want, and yeah, it will be given.
Thank you so much for that answer. I feel so enlightened already. I feel already enlightened. So now I want to ask a question on networking. I know before you moved out of Nigeria, I can still remember you already had a lot of networks with Nigerians abroad. Those that had you already have connections with Nigerians that wanted me scholarships and those other scholarships. And when you got your admission, I remember you had connections with Nigerians in Finland. I can remember this is just on the lighter note. Remember when you mentioned that in Nigeria and abroad was telling you to bring crayfish when you were coming. So I was like, and these were people you didn't know before. So how were you able to network? How do you put yourself out? Because if you get a scholarship and you don't put yourself out, no Nigerian in that same place will know you are coming. So how were
Mm.
you able to do it?
Okay. I got admission in 2019. So unfortunately, I couldn't come to this place that year because of embassy, immigration protocols, and all that. So, in light of that, because I was I was limited in a way that I don't know how to go about the immigration process, how to prepare the funds, and what it takes to get a residence permit. There were a few things I needed to learn from other people. So actually, I there was this group that was is a platform created by my university where new students come in and chat each other. So it's more like a social media for a new student. So when I saw it, when I logged in, actually, I saw two, three Nigerians, and I had to chat them up privately because this is good. You are Nigerian, I'm Nigerian. We can relate better. Let's see how can we solve this issue of knowledge on how to go about things. So we created a WhatsApp group. From there, the WhatsApp group increased and increased and increased. Then we currently are on Telegram. So as Finnish students, Finnish hopeful students. So for everyone who is interested in coming to Finland, there is this Telegram group where we render help for each other. So that created a bond between us. So I even had to meet one of those guys before they left because they actually came to Finland before me. So but we kept in touch over and over and until I was able to make it to this place. So in essence, they were a lot of helps by just putting yourself out there to say, okay, how do we help each other? You must be willing to help somebody to really get the maximum help you need. So the group has also been growing. Like there is no part of Finland that we don't have some persons who are in the group would who are not willing to help. So that's that's it for me. So when I came here, I also realized, oh, this is bigger than I thought. I thought I was the only one in the world. Anyway, this is a joke that got this admission, but there are still many Nigerians here who are coming in on frequent basis. So there are opportunities for many Nigerians from to other Finnish in universities. So it's important to keep this close relationship with your fellow countrymen and women over here. Yeah, that's how I kept in touch with every one of them. So and still date till date we are still here, keeping each other encouraged for every step we take. Yeah. Yeah.
Um, okay, thank you for that question. I really appreciate. So those of us that are listening, if you are interested in moving to Finland, before you slid into his DM, okay, his full name is on the flyer. You can reach out to him on LinkedIn. And if you reach out to me personally, I can let out his social media platform of Instagram and Facebook so you can send him a DM. But before you send him a DM, go and find out the universities in Finland, find out the courses that will interest you, that interest the things you have passion for. Please do your own research. That's something you should do. And then be sure that find out about the lifestyle there. If something it's a country you're interested in before reaching out to our facilitator. Thank you so much, sir. Now I want you to talk about transitioning from Nigeria. Nigeria is in the tropics. I know Finland is Nordic Europe. Like just if you have summer for barely 3 months. I know snow has started in Finland already. I saw some posts my people, the connections I have in Finland, I saw them post and it's already snowing. So the weather is different, very, very different. How did you transition? How was it like transitioning from Nigeria in the tropics, the equator, to the North Pole? So the
Mm.
weather changes, the cultural shocks, the food changes. I can remember we still did not stop eating Nigerian food for almost a year, even when you left Nigeria. So how did you gradually adjust? How were you able to find yourself? And how did you not lose touch of yourself while you were in a foreign land? That transition, how was it for you? Was it difficult? Was it seamless? How was it, please?
Yeah, thank you for the question. I'm fortunate to actually come to Finland at a time when it was summer. I came in July, so Finland was as hot as it was in Nigeria at that time. But then, of course, there was this awkward thing that I saw. I arrived at the airport at about 12 a.m. Yeah, 12 in the midnight, and I could see a pin that drops on the floor. Like I could see everything from every direction. So I could see things from a distance. Basically, I said what I mean is there was no darkness, and this was a problem. So darkness never fell until uh, like 1 a.m. and then it will be dark for just like 3 4 hours. By 4 o'clock everywhere is becoming bright. So this is the downside to the summer. There was so much sunlight, there was so much day, but that period only lasted for 3 months. After 3 months, yeah, I had a taste of autumn, which is colder but a bit mild. So I actually transited quite easily because I came from Nigeria where it was hot. and I came. I got to this place. It was still hot, but my only challenge was the light. It was difficult to sleep, of course. I find it difficult to sleep very long when everywhere is so bright. So I'll wake up in the morning thinking, yeah, the day has broken. But when I look at my time, it will be like 3:30 a.m. and that is not good. So it affected my sleeping habit, my sleeping pattern. I had to get curtain, dark curtains, so that light will not reflect into the room and all that. So, but I quickly adjusted to that. And the food I had, my food, I eat my food for a while until I had to start advising myself. You need to start getting acquainted with their meals. Of course, the student meal was a bit cheaper too. So I started with that. There was a discount for students. So once in a while, I would try out some food there. But now I'm totally okay with the whole food and the environment too. When it comes to, yeah, by November basically it's colder, and December it starts snowing. So, and the more it snows, the more actually we are in winter, the more the darkness. So we have so much darkness during winter, and the day is short. So it's just the direct opposite of the summer. So we have often longer darkness in winter and just direct opposite basically. Yeah, so the transition was, yeah, it can be boring. It can be boring to have everywhere dark at an instant, but the good part is there is always electricity. But you cannot just go out anyhow. You need to catch up, cover up, wear your jacket, whereas it can be really cold. It can be as cold as -17 degrees. I have also seen -20. So imagine yourself living inside your fridge. That's how it is when walking outside. Yeah. So
Uh,
yeah.
thank you so much. I believe those of us that did geography to understand environmental physiology, Finland is in the North Pole. So I believe countries that are a bit away from the North Pole, that are in between the North Pole and the equator, those
Mm,
countries don't have as much cold as that. -17 degrees is really cold. It's really, really cold. So that
mm,
I think these are things you should still consider. There are people who may not be able to stay. There are people that from the tropics that may not be able to stay in Finland. I know that some people that leave Finland during the winter, they live there and come back to the tropics. So I think these are things you should put to note before deciding the country you want to move into. If you have health challenges, you should weigh them and weigh up the option with the country you are going to for deciding the country you should go. That's why you need to do your research thoroughly. Thank you, Mr. Emmanuel. Thank you so
mm.
much. Uh, can you just tell us a bit about the country you stay, the population, the scope, the academic system, their reception to foreigners, and just tell us how your experience has been. Let's just know what to expect from and the countries around those regions and around where Finland is. Thank you.
Okay. As you've said,
Mm.
Finland is in the north. Yeah, I'm hearing myself. Okay. Yeah, as you've said, Finland is in the Nordic region and at the North Pole, basically, and really it can be really cold. So, as for the general environment and how I see the Finnish culture and how receptive they are and all that, yeah, I think the language is an interesting one, but the only good part is you get to learn some basics. You must just take some basic courses if you are going to study here, of course. So most of the things are communicated in Finnish, but anybody with just English knowledge, English language, can actually navigate through and live their life here without any hassle, basically. So, but one big barrier is once it has to do with human relations. If certain opportunity has to do with you communicating too often, then language will become an issue. So you people have seen people who learn the language within a space of 1 year and yeah, or had the opportunities open for them. And so, but some wouldn't need that if your work is basically more of computing and you need to communicate more with computer and of course your head and whoever it is. So that wouldn't be a challenge. Yeah, I'm trying to recall all the questions you
Okay.
asked. Yeah.
All right. I said, can you also talk about the countries that surround that region, the
Okay.
accessibility from Finland to other countries? I remember you visited, I can't remember, Germany last
Yeah.
December,
Okay.
and I was wondering how could you just move seamlessly from Finland to Germany? So just talk about how you can navigate other countries around there.
Okay. The thing is, Finland is part of the Schengen region. Okay, and is in the EU. So I have a residence permit. So with this residence permit, I can visit all the countries within the Schengen region. So there are almost 19 of them. So Germany is part of it. Sweden is part of it. We have Denmark, Estonia, and Norway. So I had the chance of visiting Estonia. I visited Sweden and Germany. Yeah, and Tallinn. Where is it called? There's another country I passed by actually. So with the residence permit, you don't need to apply for any visa. You just book a flight and move. Just see other places. So I had a chance to see the dynamics in other countries. So I saw that Germany was a bit more Nigerian to me than Finland was because I have lived in Finland for a while. So Finland was a bit calmer. When I got to Germany, I recall how busy Nigerian can be. So by the way, Finland population is not up to 6 million in entirety. Like there are less than 6 million people by population, while Germany is a lot, over 70 million people live in Germany. And for Sweden, Sweden is a bit more popular, bit more populated than Finland. So from history, Sweden is like a big brother to Finland. So Finland used to be part of Sweden in some sense, and then part of Russia until they became independent. Yeah, to have their own country. Yeah. So there are many countries you can visit. Once you have the opportunity to study here with a residence permit, you can go as far as Denmark, France. Yeah, many countries. So that's the opportunity. Mm.
Sorry. Someone just said we wish we could travel around Africa like that. I think there's an ECOWAS. ECOWAS. If you have the as an ECO part of ECOWAS, you can travel around West Africa. I'm not really sure about it, but I know you can visit Ghana without having a visa.
Yeah, yeah,
Those
yeah.
countries in ECOWAS. I don't know of the
You
entire African continent. The
no, no,
AU. I'm not sure.
you
I
cannot
know of no.
entire Africa continent with Nigerian passport, but you can visit all the West African countries. You can go to Ghana, you can go to Cote d'Ivoire, yeah, Cotonou, Benin Republic, and all that.
and Chad. I think
Yeah,
Chad is also part of it. Chad is part of it. Thank you so much. I just have two more questions before we round off because our time is fast spent. Now, how can we build a support system? Let's say someone who is already transiting, you're about to, probably you've gotten a scholarship or you're working towards getting a scholarship. How do you build a support system? I'm talking about a moral support system because you need that moral support, a spiritual support system, academic, financial support system, and everything before and during and after school, because I know as a student, so that postgraduate or undergraduate, there's still a constraint to the level of finance you can get when you are still trying to pursue school. How do we build that system? Is it through church, through just family members, through friends, or through joining fellowships or um, platforms? So I would like to know that.
should we consider before first?
Before first, yes, sir. Before first, then after.
Okay. Well, generally, I know ah, being African or being Nigerian, the disadvantage is there, which is the finance disadvantage. Most don't have all it takes to study here. Personally, I didn't have everything I needed. Yeah, if you ask me to pay my school fees, I wouldn't be able to pay it. School fees was about 12,000 euros per year. So I got a scholarship. So that was waived for me. So I only needed to provide means of support, like show that I can actually live and study without any trouble. So I needed to provide proof of funds that, okay, I have the money. So to do that, I had initially worked also in Nigeria. I had some savings, and I also got some from friends and family and put it together to show as a proof of fund. So for you to build your support system, especially when you need to build um, you need to prove funds, then there is need to start searching and keeping um yeah, if you I'm just talking from this use case for students who may not have worked, then that would be hard to even say you have some savings. That's why I would always suggest you target the best. There are people who get scholarship and at the same time get paid. But when you cannot get that, then I think um, getting families and friends who can support you will be the best option. But then you need to actively cultivate that relationship in a way. If you know who has it, and you need to really show the person why you need it and all that. If it means the person borrowing you the money, if you come here, you can get to do some work and then return it. Yeah, this will be helpful. But just be a trustworthy person. That's also one thing I would suggest. Yeah. So yeah.
Okay, thank you, sir. One thing I picked, you said be trustworthy, build relationship, cultivate the relationship. It's not when you need 500K for your flight. That's when you start calling that uncle or start calling that professor or that person that can borrow you or can help you. You should keep in touch. You should find a when the person is doing birthday, you should be there. You should call the person on his birthday. That's a relationship you should cultivate. I'm not saying you should just depend on them, but
Mm.
build these structures. This is not the time you should be quarreling with everybody. I'm saying it because they have money, then you're quarreling with everybody. These people could really be of help to you. That just 50,000, 100,000 the person could give to you, or that connection to like this my boy wants to travel, he has got his scholarship and this. Let's rally around for him. Something you really need. So on a closing note, Sir, please, from the graduate who would love to explore international opportunities within the first 5 years after school, what's the advice to that person? What should be the person's attitude to the challenges that will come? The person just give up and say, "Oh, there's no need," or the person keep pressing? What's your advice to the person that loves to explore international opportunities, not just study abroad, probably just a job or a training or internship, or what the person loves to do that is outside the African space, outside the Nigerian space? What's your advice to such an undergraduate?
If the person wants to just experience international opportunity within the 5 years after graduation, is that what you mean?
Yes, sir. And even after, it may be the 10 years, but 5 years, for example.
Hmm. Okay. Well, there are these things I see opportunity decks. Yeah, it's also part of the platform I followed for a while while searching for international opportunity. So there
Okay,
are,
so opportunity decks, that what you call it?
yeah, opportunity decks. It's a website that
Okay,
publishes,
opportunitydex.com.
yeah, something like that, or .org.
Okay, all right, thank you, sir.
Yeah. So there are lots of opportunity being published there for, yeah, international experiences. So also master studies is also important. For further studies is important you start on already on time. If it fails once, you shouldn't give up. It will always work out if you don't give up. Just know why it didn't work out in the first place, and then improve on your subsequent applications. Yeah, for me, I know I tried a couple of application, couple of countries, and I got this. But it starts with you having a mentor, knowing what you want, and then choosing your options wisely. You shouldn't be found everywhere applying for everything, basically. You should know what really makes you who you are. So for this opportunity, there's on this international opportunity, they are not looking for passive people. They want people who have ability to influence and ability to to make impact. So it's like if they are giving us so much fund to invest in something, they would want a return in a way, not necessarily for themselves. They want to be sure that it will be important and beneficial for their own aim or their goal for establishing such opportunity. So it matters also for whoever the applicant will be that you don't just seek this opportunity for personal reasons or personal consumption. It's mostly meant for you to actually become more impactful in the community. So they look at those things when you apply. They look at how your track record, how well you've been doing, and what you have done. And it's important you start now. Don't just sit back and relax, waiting for the opportunity. Opportunity will always not come in that way. Yeah. So in your little cycle, where you are at the moment, it's important you do something, no matter how little. You just have to magnify it and talk about it when it matters. And this, most of them, takes you writing an essay or going through some interview. Yeah, you must write an essay, and then subsequently, interviews will be called upon. You have to also explain or talk about how you are the best fit for such opportunity. Yeah.
Okay, thank you so much, Mr. Emmanuel. I believe my questions have covered a lot. While we were discussing, if you have any questions, just type your question in the comment section. We'll be rounding up in the next 5 to 6 minutes. We've really had a nice time chatting with Mr. Emmanuel. Mr. Emmanuel, on behalf of the Regenerate ESCOs, National Association of Life Science Students, Tiniben chapter, led by Comrade Possible Eberechi, the governor, I want to say thank you for accepting our invitation. I know it was not convenient, considering it, I found that our timing is different. Nigerian time is quite different from where you are. Yet you created time out of your busy schedule to be with us. Thank you so much. We do not take it for granted. I picked a lot of lessons. One of the things you said that in applying for scholarship, I believe every person listening and those that will be watching later to take note of this. In applying for scholarship, don't project yourself, project impact that supersedes you, that supersedes your just your immediate family. So aside beyond Nigeria, beyond Africa, on a global scale, imprinting your own mark and contributing to global progress. So when you're applying for a scholarship or you're projecting yourself for a scholarship, how does it affect the world? How does it affect the world within your space? And how does it affect the world, even the generation coming after you? That's why we should begin to take up leadership roles within our capacity, within our space, in your class, in your school. Begin to take up leadership roles. Those of you that still have 2, 3 years in school, if you are interested in any political position, why not reach out to those in charge, reach out to your president, and start taking up those roles, not just for the paraphernalia of holding a position, but to give impact. Impact. No, you're not just being a president of your department for the show, for showbiz, but for impact. And you should work to create your own imprint in that department, in that faculty, within your capacity. If you just work with other competent people, work towards creating impact, creating a track record. That's key. And please maintain a social media presence. Whatever, it's not just when people post online, people think it's show off. It's not show off. People in Finland, for example, never saw Mr. Emmanuel physically, but they could find what he's been doing online. So whatever you're doing, just share a clip of it online. Let's know, let people see you, and we trust God that opportunities will open for us we beyond the shores of Nigeria. Once again, Mr. Emmanuel, thank you so much. I appreciate everyone that joined us. Nosa Osawe, our previous facilitator, Mr. Possible Eberechi, Mr. Governor, thank you. Peace, my sister, thank you. Vicky, thank you. Every other person that joined us. So the end, those that didn't even comment, that are watching silently, you are well appreciated. And those that will be watching subsequently, thank you so much. We'll be having other subsequent programs. Do well to like this video, share, and also comment so we can keep this video engaged. Share with your friends, encourage them to go through it and pick their lessons too. Share it on your status, share it on your class group. Thank you so much, Uncle Emmanuel. Do you have any other final words for them before we end this broadcast?
Yeah, one final word is no matter what, don't give up. Don't give up. It's the same head that you have that other people out here also have. It's just that there is an advantage of environment that some people get that we do not have in Africa as much. But if you keep striving, if you keep pushing, you will always win. You will always win. So let's do this. Yeah.
Let's do this. Let's do this. Thank you so much, Sir Emmanuel. Thank you so much. Those of you that joined, thank you. Until we come your way again, I remain your Deputy Governor, Comrade Joy IJE. Ciao.
Bye.
Bye.